Screw that. Hello and welcome to the channel. Today I'm going to be kicking off a new series called The Lazy Way to Play, and I'm going to be starting this series with the intro to the song Lay It Down by Ratt. If you're a guitar player, odds are that you've heard something in a song that you thought sounded awesome and you just had to learn how to play it. But then once you got into the learning process of it, you realize for some reason it just is a lot harder to play than it sounds. So that is the purpose of this series. We're going to be looking for shortcuts, little cheats, anything that we can do to find lazy ways to play the songs that we like while still sounding as close to the original as possible. If you just want to skip ahead to the tutorial and learn how to play what I just played, then click on the description below. There will be a timestamp there. Click on that. That'll take you to that portion of the video. However, if you're interested in following along with my thought process and how I make songs easier to play, then stick around because I'm going to be jumping into that right now. So let's start with the way that Ratt actually plays this song. First, you need a power chord on the 5th fret of the A string. However, you need to free up your pinky, so you're going to have to bar a couple strings here. And then you also need to hit the B string with it. Not that we're playing that, but when you do your pull-off, you need to be pushing on that string too. So right away, your fingers are doing a lot more stretching than they're used to. And we haven't even got to the hard part yet. So we got a index finger on the 5th fret, pinky on the 8th fret, yep. So far we got a 5 to 8 stretch. I can't even play this song, so my fingers aren't meant to bend this way. Then we go up to the 9th fret. Again, I just can't do it. And then from there, that's not even, we haven't even stretched all the way out yet. Now we got a 5th fret to 10th fret rather, 10th fret stretch. And we need to do this because he likes to hit this note here. It's just ridiculous to play that and not expect to get any kind of hand injury, so immediately I'm looking for other ways to play this. So first of all, we can play around with the tuning. I can drop the A string down a couple notches so that it's almost like a drop D tuning, but on the A string instead of the D string. So then I can just bar the whole chord. That's one way to do it. However, changing the tuning of that string that is used pretty frequently throughout the rest of the song means you have to adjust the way you play the rest of the song. So that's one method that I would like to avoid if possible. So we're going to put that back. Now the next option, if we're not going to change the tuning, we need to look into what we can remove. Now if you look at this song and the intro and the way that it's played, pretty much everything is played from the 7th fret up with the exception of this stupid note. Everything else is up here. So then it becomes a question of, do we even really need this note? Well, let's listen to the chord and what it sounds like with it, and what it sounds like without it. And frankly, in my opinion, no, you absolutely do not need that bass D note on the A string. So I'm just going to drop that and put my index finger up here instead. And just like that, my middle finger, ring finger, and pinky finger are all freed up to do whatever I need them to do. Now that was the basic thought process on making this intro more simple. It didn't take much. Really all I had to do was drop that. There is one other minor change that I ended up making, but I'll get to that when I jump into the tutorial, which I'm about to do now.
He, in fact, did not go over the other change he made. Due to his forgetfulness, he didn't even think to go over it in his tutorial.
Alright, so I'm going to start by playing this at full speed so you can see what we'll be working on. Alright, we're going to start by taking our index finger, going up to the 7th fret on the D string, the G string, and the B string as well. We will not be playing the B string yet, but you do need to be pushing down on that because when you do your little pull off, you do need to be pushing down on that note. But like I said, D string and G string, that's the chord that we need to be playing. After you play that chord, we do a little chug chug on the open D string. Then next we're gonna go do our pull off. So get your middle finger on the 8th fret. You're gonna be playing the 8th fret of the B string. And we're gonna be playing the G string and the B string together. And then we do a little pull off with our middle finger. So far we got. So from there, instead of doing another chug chug, I'm gonna go to the regular D string on the 7th fret where we have our finger, and I'm just gonna mute pick that a couple times instead. The reason being, if you keep doing these little chug jugs, I think if you don't mute it properly, it's gonna make the rest of the chords sound muddy, and that's something I would like to avoid because these chords sound sick, and I don't want anything muddying those up and making them sound not as awesome as they sound. So if I were to not mute that properly, I can't hear that chord as well as I would like to. So that is why I do a little chug chug instead of the chug chug. With that said, so far what we got is. And then from here, we're going to take our ring finger, go up to the 9th fret of the G string, and we're going to play the G string and the G string together. And again, we're going to do another pull off. With that added, so far what we have sounds a little bit like this. Now we're going to take that ring finger, go right back to the 9th fret of the G string, play the G string and the D string together. Then we're going to mute it. Then we're going to slide up 1 fret with both fingers. That right there is my favorite chord in this whole intro. Sounds sick. Now with those added, sounds like this. And from here, I like to go back to another chug chug. Since I already played my favorite chord, I'm not worried about it getting muddied up anymore. I can go back to the chug chug. So. Then we play the chord again after the chug chug. Now after we add the chug chug and that extra chord, I'm going to reach up with my index finger right where it's at, just go up 1 string. And then I'm going to slide that up to the 10th fret, and I'm going to play a chord right there on the A string and the D string. And then I'm going to mute pick it in between. We're going to play that chord 3 times with a mute in between each time. And then on the 3rd time, we're going to slide that up to the 12th fret. So all together sounds like this. So now we're going to play a lot of what we just played again until we reach this point. And then from there we go down to the open D string and the open A string. We're going to play it muted 2 times and 1 time unmuted, so it'll sound like. And then from there, after you play it unmuted, you hammer on to the 2nd fret. So it's going to sound like this. Then you do that again, play 2 times muted, 1 time unmuted, and then slide up to the 3rd fret. And then we do that 1 more time, 2 times muted, 1 time unmuted, slide up to the 5th fret. So from right there, we're going to go back to what we just learned. Now on that last part of the intro, instead of going up, like we have been, we're going to take this chord here and go down to the 5th fret, same strings, D and G, and play a lower chord down there. Now at this part it gets a little confusing because there's a couple guitars going, one in the right ear, one in the left ear. The one in the right ear sounds something like this from here. So what I'm doing there is I'm going from the 5th fret back up to the 7th fret with my index finger, and all the way up to the 10th fret with my pinky, and doing a little pull off back down to the 9th fret. So that's really the only one I'm going to cover. Basically doing a tutorial on how to play this with one guitar. So all together, this whole thing should sound a little something like this. Alright, that concludes this tutorial. Hopefully this helped you find an easier way to play a pretty cool song. If you're interested in more content like this, drop a comment down below. Let me know what songs you're interested in finding a lazy way to play for, and I'll see what I can do with it. Also consider subscribing. This is a pretty tiny channel, so you would be among the first, and we'll try and pump out more content like this. Until then, I'll see you in the next video.